totally out of
This video is going along with Chapter 12, Section 3, working on sinking fund payments and amortization payments using a formula. Number 16 and 19 we're going to do as demonstrations here. They've already given us the answer, but how did they get that? So we're going to go ahead and do the setup and see how they did that. So we need the future value for our formula up here. So our future value is 8,000. We're going to multiply that by the interest rate. Well, the interest rate is 6% quarterly, so each period then they're going to get 1.5%, just like what we figured it before. So we move that over to the decimal, though. We have 0.15. That's going to be on top. So our bottom bracket then is 1 plus the interest rate, so 1.015. And we're going to multiply that by our n factor for our number of periods. So we had quarterly times 5, so that's going to give us 20, right? So we put that up there. And then we're going to subtract 1, because that's the formula. Okay? So there's some tricky ways with the calculator, but you may or may not have that fancy. So let's just kind of do it longhand a little bit here, because most of you will have that ability, or may not have it on the calculator. There is a label series or a calculator series in the textbook to show you how to do it if you have a super fancy calculator. But for those who may not, we're going to have to do the bottom part first. So 1.015, so write our y to the x, 20 equals minus the 1. So we can take care of that. Minus 1 equals, okay, so that's going to be on the bottom, 0.34685, and that's close enough. And we're going to have that's still on the top. So we go back to our calculator then and go 0.01, 0.015 divided by, I'm going to see if I can get something to punch this here. Divide by, okay, divide by 0.34685 equals. Okay, so now we have our multiplication factor times our original amount. And we hit our 345.96. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward with the formula. Just simply, I would, as you're doing these problems, write the formula down off to the side and then plug everything in as you're going. Okay, let's do another one of those with the givens here. This is number 19. This is one of your homework ones, but they've already done it for you, which is really nice of them. So let's see how they got that by setting it up. So this is a percent, so as a decimal it's going to be 106, okay, and that's going to be on the top, so 0.106, and on the bottom it's a little more tricky. So we have 1 minus 1 plus the interest rate, and we have that negative exponent, right? So we have negative 10, because it's every year, it's annual. Okay, so that's when we have to use that plus or minus key that we did before. So let's go ahead and find the bottom number. So we're going to have clear 1 minus 1.106, and that's going to be y to the x minus 10 equals. Okay, so we have our number then, so we're just going to scoot that over there. Nothing's changed on the top. Okay, so now we're just going to do our calculator. 0.106 divided by 0.61445671106. Wow. Okay, And now we're going to multiply. We got a little off. We got a little off because they probably cut off that number right about here, and we had that a little additional difference. Okay, so you have to be careful there when you're doing the multiplying how big of a number you get. So that's probably why ours is a little bigger than theirs, because we multiplied or divided by a little bit bigger number. Okay, so that's how you do those. Again, you're just plugging in, doing the calculator, doing the math. Okay, let's look at a story problem or a word problem here. Let's look at number 24. Okay, she purchased a new home for $225,000 with 20% down payment, remainder amortized over 15 years, 9% interest. What amount did she finance? Well, that's pretty nice. We did a 20% down. So what percentage then is she paying? Well, if she's got 225, she put 20% down, it means she has 80% left, right? So as a decimal, that's 0.8. So if we just multiply that, so she has left to finance $180,000. So the second part says, what equal monthly payments are required to amortize the loan over 15 years? Well, we're using this formula, this amortization formula. Okay, so present value then is going to be the $180,000. She's going to multiply that by the interest rate. Okay. So it's 9% for 15 years, but she's doing it monthly, right? So it's 9% divided by 12. So as a monthly then, we would just simply go 9 divided by 12.0075 then as a decimal, because we're moving that over 2, remember? Okay, so we need to work on our setup now. So we have our interest rate, 0.0075, is going to be 1 minus 1.0075 to the negative n. Well, how long is that? We have 15 years, 12 times each year, right? Because it's 12 months. So we're going to have a negative 180 on the outside of that. Okay? So let's move this up here, and we'll get our calculator here. We need to turn it sideways. All right, let's scoot that up into there so you can kind of see all the functions here. Oop. Back around here. All right, so 1 minus 1.0075 y to the x, right? Negative 180. Oop. There we go. Okay, so that's numbers on the bottom. Didn't do anything with the top. Okay, I'm going to kind of round that there because that threw us off the last time. So now we're going to go up here, since we're just straight division now. Okay, and we're going to multiply that by the amount that we need to amortize. Okay, is equal to 182568. And by rounding that a little bit, we got exactly what the textbook had as an answer, which is always good. So we didn't have that extra numbers at the end before to throw us off a little bit. So round it to 5 spots. I think that'll probably work best to match answers. Even though you're not doing it wrong, you're just going to be able to match theirs. Okay, so the difference then, they have one more question here. It says, what if she wanted to pay it off in 20 years instead of 15? So the difference then in our formula then is going to be pretty much the same. That's going to be on top. We're going to multiply it by the same amount of money, right? Because that didn't change. And so we have 1 minus 1.0075. But it's going to be, for 20 years times the 12, is going to be a negative 240. Okay? So let's figure out what that new bottom is going to be then. So we have 1 minus 1.0075 y to the x, okay, negative 240 this time, equals, okay, 0.0075, and that's going to be on the bottom. 3, how about 5.9? We'll round that to that 5 spots we talked about. Okay, so we're going to just simply hit clear on that, 0.0075. I'm going to divide then by 0.83359. Okay, times our original amount. That didn't change. Okay, so she could have smaller payments, but the fun then is going to be what the interest is going to be. Okay, how much more did you pay over these years? Yes, you're paying less, but you're also paying more interest in, so there's really that balancing act. So again, just apply the formula, go slow and easy on stuff. So you've got 2 formulas here to review: the sinking fund, amortization. Remember, it's that negative, okay, that you have to throw. So is that going to be that plus or minus key that's going to throw that into the negative for us to make sure the formula works. And just going nice and slow and filling everything out. I think you'll be just fine. Have fun.